I know this is a channel all about screenwriting for film and TV, but let's talk for a moment about Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Because this is the kind of book that shows us how important our voices and stories are as Black creators. I'm Kristen Irish Johnson, and this is Black Screenwriter Alliance. Parable of the Sower, I first read this in 2016, right after the shit show of an election that got us Trump. So the story really hit me in a terrifying, I'm being faced with my reality kind of way. And if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. So here we are with the same president again, only this time he's a convicted felon. I genuinely feel like I'm living in a satire at every moment, except there's no humor in it. Anyway, back to Parable of the Sower. So this novel by Octavia Butler, who is my favorite writer, RIP, was published in 1993. It's a speculative fiction story that starts in 2024. It's set in a kind of post-apocalyptic world, heavily impacted by climate change, social injustices, extreme Christian nationalism, and capitalism. Like, seriously, does any of that sound familiar? In Parable of the Sower, the main character, Lauren Olamina, starts as a teen who is run out of her home and journeys into the harsh world where she develops or kind of channels Earthseed. Now, some call it a religion, some in the book call it a cult. I think of it as like a philosophy for living and honestly for surviving. Earthseed is based on the principle that the only lasting truth is change. God is change. Now, if you haven't read this book, go read it. This book and its sequel, of the Talents, has had a major impact on a lot of people over the years. It reached bestseller, Parable of the Sower reached bestseller status in 2020, almost 27 years after its publication, because what Octavia wrote about struck such a chord with people in the present day that we were living. So aside from the terrifyingly familiar depictions of society and the government in the book, where the president literally says something along the lines of, "Make America great again," the Earthseed philosophies and principles in Parable of the Sower inspired the book Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds by Adrienne Marie Brown, which is described as being a guidebook for getting in right relationship with change, using our own nature and that of creatures beyond human as our teachers. Emergent Strategy, the book, grew further into Emergent Strategy Ideation Institute, which builds movement capacity to create a more just and equitable world through facilitation, training, coaching, and strategy development. So essentially, Earthseed, which came from this 1993 sci-fi book, created the foundation for facilitation and movement work to address and combat the very violences we are experiencing in society today. People are literally turning to this book today for guidelines and hope for how we move forward. That is the power of one Black voice telling a story that felt like truth to her. The truth of where we would inevitably end up if we did not change course. And now we're here. So the reason I share this, even though this is a film and TV based channel, is to impart on you how important our voices as Black storytellers are. There is so much truth and humanity that we can bring to the world with our voices. Your story doesn't have to be prophetic like Octavia's for it to make an impact. Look at Abbott Elementary. Through heartfelt comedy, they brought more awareness to the struggles teachers face in this country's education system. We have an immense power to inspire change, share truth, and bring more humanity to the world with our stories. And that also means that we have a responsibility. Every story sends a message, whether you want it to or not. Doesn't matter if it's comedy, a children's story, or speculative fiction and sci-fi. It's your responsibility to be intentional about what that message is. You have power, so use it. Make sure to subscribe to Black Screenwriter Alliance for more screenwriting tips and industry insights.